y'all, welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coco. I am your girl Coco, and it's so lovely to have you here. I just felt the need to talk about outgrowing people, not just people, but places and things, and just outgrowing things that you've been attached to, or people or places that you've been attached to for years. And it's okay to outgrow someone or outgrow a thing or a place and want to just, elevate and become, a higher version of yourself. It's okay. And sometimes when you get to that point in your life, everyone can't come with you. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it's just not meant for it to be that way. That's not the way your path is set up. And it's okay to outgrow a place, because sometimes the place that you're in, your city or the house that you're in, the apartment you're in, the state you live in, you've outgrown that place, those places, and it's time for you to do some reevaluating on how you can put yourself in a different place that is going to align with the new journey that you're on in your life. And for me, right now, I am in a new phase of my life. I'm on a new journey where I'm just trying to elevate in every area of my life, financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. I just want to be better in all of those areas at the highest level that I can be. And I just turned 48 on the 4th of June, the 4th of this month. No, not this month, rather. Today is not June anymore. So I turned 48 on the 4th of June. And I wasn't, I felt grateful that I was able to see 48. My mom passed at 48. And when I turned 40, as of 48 was approaching, at 47, I've been thinking about, I think about my mom all the time. I was 16 when my mother passed away. So I've been walking this earth a long time without her, and it is not an easy thing. It will never be easy for me. And it's just something that I tolerate. I've never just gotten over it. And I doubt if I ever will. But at this age, I think about how young that is for someone, a man or a woman, to leave this earth. And especially when they have children. It's a very young age to die. My brother passed away in 2021 from COVID, and he was very young also. He was 44, I believe. I think my brother was 44 when he passed away. No, he was 43. He was 43, I believe. And I know you're like, how you don't know how old he was? My brother and I, we're very close in age, but a lot of things are a blur to me right now from that year, because so many things were happening to me that year that were not good. And the past 2 years, a lot of things have happened to me that were not good. And I will probably go into detail about those things in another episode. I don't know if I choose to be that transparent, but I might. I just might, because where I am right now, 2 years ago, I was praying to be in this position right now. So it really is, that saying, you were once praying for the things that you have now, or to be where you are now. There was a time when you were praying to be in this position. That is so true, because it definitely applies to me in this space and time. But like I was saying, it's okay to outgrow people and places and things. And there are a lot of times people will blame you. They will feel like you are wrong for saying, well, I've outgrown this relationship, this marriage, this friendship. Like, it's no longer serving me and I need to remove myself for the sake of my own peace of mind. People will really condemn you for that. And I've never understood that. I feel like it takes a lot for a person to come to the realization and acceptance that, hey, this is not serving me anymore. And even though I've done things to try to make this work, it's just not working for me where I am in my life. And I need to move on to something more, because if I stay in this space, I'm only doing myself and the other person a disservice. Like, I'm not helping either one of us by staying in this situation, this place, this relationship, this marriage, this thing. And I know that I can't give all of me to it anymore. I don't have all of me to give to this anymore. And when you can realize that about yourself, like, I'm really not feeling this anymore. I'm not even really trying like I was before. Like, I can just take this or leave it, even if it's something that you really once wanted. Like I said, like, there are people who've been married for years, for decades, and are getting divorced. And it's not always because there's some type of animosity there. It's just they've outgrown each other, or one person has outgrown the other one. Sometimes in a marriage, and I've never been married, but I know this to be true. I know a lot of married people. I come from a family on both sides where there are a plethora of marriages. My own parents were married until my mother passed away. They were married, and my parents got married before my brother and I were even born. And they were once married to other people. So, and that was like a long time ago, back in the 60s. But anyway, like I was saying, there are people who have been married for decades who get divorces because they've outgrown each other. Or like I said, one person has outgrown the other one. And the person who isn't the one who has outgrown the person who is still okay in the marriage or the relationship, they're not understanding how someone can outgrow them, how that person could outgrow them. But it's an easy thing to happen, because sometimes we get to a point in our lives where something is just, like I said, is not serving us. And even if we try to make it work, we know in the back of our minds, like, I'm going to try this thing because it just might. It might help. It might make things work. It might turn things around where we can continue to be in this thing together and we can grow together. And sometimes, no matter how hard you try, it still doesn't work. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are people who will try to make you feel like you should still be with them, even though you've outgrown them. And I don't understand why anyone would want to be in a friendship or relationship or marriage with a person who is flat out telling you, this is not serving me anymore. I need more. And it's not you. And I know that's so like cliche. It's me. Like, I can't do this anymore. And I don't have any ill feelings towards you. I don't want anything, but good for you. And that's why, and for me. And that's why I need to remove myself from this. Because if I don't, it's only going to make both of us suffer later on down the line. And life is too short to live in suffrage. Like, who wants to go through life like that? Who chooses that? And for me, I don't want that. I want abundance in my finances, my spiritual health, my mental health, my physical health, and my emotional health. I just want all of those things to be aligned and to serve me in a way that makes me elevate. That's what I want for myself. And anything or any place, any person that doesn't fit into that, they have to go. Like, I just can't have it around me. It's very hard for me to be around a person whose energy is like low, and I don't always have this vibrant, energy level every single day. I wake up every day and I choose happiness. Is it easy for me to do every day? No, it's not an easy thing for me to do every day. Sometimes it's very hard for me to do every day, especially with me, be going into menopause. Like, I am, at the beginning stages of transitioning. I'm not into menopause completely, but it has entered my life. It's creeping on in. And some days I struggle with my emotions. Sometimes I just want to cry for absolutely no reason. I don't even know why. So for me to have this peace of mind that I have now, the peace of mind that I have now, rather, and for me to feel the way that I feel about myself when I look in the mirror, I like what I see, even though I need to lose some weight. I'm getting older. I have some gray in my hair. Like, even though I see all of these things, I still like who I see when I look in the mirror. And even though I love myself to death, I know there are things about me that I want to change, things about me that I need to change, but I don't beat myself up about that now. And that is something that I struggled with too. And because of that, I know that that is how I have come to the realization, rather, that there are a lot of things in my life and people and places that I have just outgrown, because they were part of my life back when I didn't really know who the hell I was. They were part of my life when I was in a really fucked up state of mind. Like, I was in toxic relationships. I was just doing shit. Even my last relationship, now that when I look back at it, it wasn't what I thought it was. And eventually, I would have outgrown it anyway. Because, you know what? Let me take that back. When that relationship ended, I was devastated because I was completely blindsided. Like, I didn't even expect for that to happen, especially the way that it happened. And that's something I'm not going to go into detail about, because I don't even want to, get into all of that anymore. I've talked about it so much when it happened that I just don't care to get into the details about it anymore. But I will say that when it ended, I was completely devastated. And I just couldn't understand why. But I didn't need him to tell me more than once how he felt, because it was clear. When somebody tells me that they don't want to fuck with me anymore, I don't care how they say it, how nice they are, how mean they are. I don't ask why. I say, okay. And I go on about my business, and they never hear from me again. The only time that has happened, was with my second oldest daughter's father. We were very young when we had her. And he wrote me this lovely letter, very long letter. And it wasn't mean at all. It was a very explicit, like, actually, it's not explicit. It was a very detailed letter, rather, about why he felt the relationship should end. Now, our daughter was the one when he gave me that letter. And I was heartbroken. But I accepted it. And I was still allowing him to call me for sexual favors. And I had to understand, like, this man is not talking about being with you again. He is just calling you for these things. Now, this is the only, and I had to tell myself, you need to stop this because you look like a fool. You are looking really stupid right now. There is not this much love in the world. Like, you need to call this man right now and tell him, like, look, this has to stop. So that's what I did. I called him one day and I said, look, I cannot come over no more for anything sexual. I'm not doing that. I don't care about you seeing our daughter. You can come see her whenever you want. You can come get her whenever you want. I don't mind. Just give me a heads up. I will gladly co-parent with you the best way that we can for her sake. But this other stuff has got to stop. I said, I will never deny you of her. But this other stuff, I can't do it anymore. So that's where I am right now. And it's like, I had to understand that there are some things, I shouldn't say that is where I am right now. Because with that goes back to my last relationship. There were a lot of things that I was doing in that relationship that when I look back at them, I was like, like, girl, what the fuck? Like, a lot of things happened in that relationship that were very toxic. And it was nothing, like, it wasn't towards me, but it became my shit because I was in that relationship, if that makes any sense. Like, he never did anything like put his hands on me or disrespect me. Like, he never disrespected me, but there were things that I allowed to happen in that relationship because I wanted him to understand, like, oh, this is how much I love you. This is how much I want you to feel like you can be yourself around me, and I'm not going to judge you for it. So there were just a lot of things that I tolerated, a lot of things that happened that if they were to happen now, if I was in a relationship, I would be gone. Like, I would be out at the first one. But because I was just so in love, the common sense just left my body, and I was just allowing these things to happen and allowing myself to just be in all this toxicity. And at that time, in those moments, those things weren't toxic to me. They were not toxic. I was just looking at them as, okay, this is what he has going on in his life, and I have stuff going on in my life too that aren't the greatest. So I really can't even say, that this stuff that's going on with him is so awful, because I had some shit going on too that I needed to fix. But it was nothing compared to the stuff that he had going on. Nothing compared to that. But it did teach me that not everyone is going to be there for you when certain things happen in your life in the capacity that you were there for them when that same thing was going on with them. Sometimes you show up for people in ways and on levels that they will never show up for you. Even if you have an amazing friendship or an amazing marriage, relationship, whatever, sometimes people are incapable of reciprocating the kind of love and care and compassion and sympathy and empathy that you have given to them. They just can't do it. And when you see that, you have to either tell yourself this person is incapable of reciprocating this kind of this level of love for me that I have for them, so I need to remove myself. Or you can tell yourself they're incapable and okay, I just accept it. Or you can tell yourself, well, it's okay, you know, I'm just gonna, you know, it's okay. Yeah, that's just how they are. You can tell yourself one of those three things. I am choosing now to tell myself this person is incapable and I got to go. Cue, like, where are my keys, where my purse, like, how I get up out of here? Because, over there, the door's over there. Oh, it's another door to get up out of here? Because I gotta go. I can't stay here. That's where I'm at right now. So, that for me equates to, also goes back to outgrowing people and places and things. Like, sometimes you're in a place or in a relationship or in a marriage, in a friendship for so long that you never think that one day you're not gonna want that anymore. And it's not even because you dislike the person you're with or the place you're at, or just, it's not even because you dislike it. Sometimes that is a part of it, but sometimes, you know, it's not that you don't like it. It's just that there's this urge that comes over you to get something else going on in your life. And in order for you to have that, you have to let this one thing over here go, or all of this stuff over here go, so that you can elevate to something higher, so that you can have something better, so that you can have more. And it's okay to feel that way. Sometimes, you know, if it's a person, sometimes we might feel a little bad because we're like, dang, you know, I don't want them to feel like they did something wrong. But really, it's either you or them. And who's more important when it comes to your life, when it comes to your peace of mind and your joy and you thriving? Who is more important, you or them? Because you can't choose them and think that you're still gonna have this life of happiness if you know that you're not happy with the way things are, and you know you need to make some changes, you need to do some reevaluating, you need to step back and take a look at what's going on and understand, like, none of these things are for me anymore. Not even this person. As much as I love this person, I need to move on because I am stagnant right now. And I feel like if I don't do something quickly, something drastically, something tragic is going to happen to me. So I need to do what I need to do to protect me. And if that means that you have to walk away from somebody, then go ahead, because you've outgrown them. That's telling you, like, you've outgrown this person. Because sometimes what happens is they're not on the same page as you anymore. You start off on the same page and you stay on the same page for a long time. But one day, something just clicks in your mind and you're like, you know what? I just want something. I want more. And I'm not saying literally like one day. For some people, it actually happens like that, though. Like, they just wake up one day like, look, I don't want this anymore. Some people, it's something they've been thinking about for quite a while. Like, this is not for me anymore. Like, I need something. I need more. And I need to go figure this out by myself. Like, I don't want anybody else to come along. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's a person, you really do owe it to them to be honest so that they don't feel like they've done something wrong. Because if someone hasn't done anything wrong to you and you just come out the blue with, you know what, I can't do this anymore, I'm out, that's fucked up. So you do need to use some tact, and you do need to consider the person's feelings if you start to feel like that. Like, look, I love you to death. I really do. But this is not serving me anymore. And I need to remove myself. I need to go figure some things out. And I need to do it alone. Because something is not right within me. And I need to figure out what it is. And I can only do that by myself. And that's okay. Now, either that person is going to respect that because they love you enough to understand that. Even if they're hurt by that, they're still going to respect it and understand. And even if they don't understand, they will still respect it because they love you. Some people are selfish and they're going to get mad at you and they're going to condemn you for that. And that's okay too, because that's not your business. Your business is taking care of you. Your business is making sure that you don't end up in somebody's mental hospital. That's your business. Okay? Because there are a lot of people walking around here who are in somebody's mental hospital, mental care facility, I should say, because they couldn't cope. That's why some of those people are there. Not all there. People are in those places for all different kind of reasons, but some people are there because of that. And you don't want that to be you. So, no matter how bothered someone is by you removing yourself from their life or wherever it is you need to remove yourself from, the way those people feel is not your business, because your only business is you. Once you start to make how they feel about you choosing you your business, it's going to make you question if choosing you was even the right thing to do. And then sometimes when people do that, they go back on their word and they stay with that person. Now they're even more miserable than they were before. And if they weren't miserable then, now they are miserable because they didn't stick with, I'm choosing me. They let that person send them on a guilt trip to make them stay with them. And I don't even understand why anybody would want to be with somebody who's telling them clearly, I can't do this anymore. I don't care how nice they are about it. If a person is telling you that, believe them and let them go on about their business. Because why would you even want that? I would never want to be with somebody who didn't want to be with me. Never. I don't care how hurt my feelings are. I don't care how much I love them. I don't care how good the dick is. I don't care how big the dick is. I don't care how fine they are, how much money they make, what kind of car they drive, what kind of house they live in. I don't care about none of that. You only got to tell me one time that you don't want me, or even make me feel like you don't want me one time. And baby, I am out. You don't have to worry about me no more. You will never hear from me again. Never. Okay? Now, moving on, like I was saying, it's okay to outgrow people. It's okay. It's okay. It's called self-awareness. It's a form of self-care to acknowledge, hey, this is not serving me. And I need to remove myself from this situation because I want something better. I want something more. And it's okay to want more. It's okay with that too. There's a lot of people who feel like you shouldn't even want more for yourself. I don't understand that mindset either. It's okay to not want to be in a marriage that anymore if it's not serving you. And what I mean by serving you is you just aren't happy. And no matter how much work the two of you have done to try to make the marriage work or make the relationship work, no matter how hard you've tried to make it work, if it's still not working, that's fine. It just means that it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. Don't ever stay in a situation that isn't serving you for the sake of the other person. Don't ever do that, because what you're doing is you are only hurting yourself, and you're hurting them too. But sometimes that person is so selfish, they don't even understand any of that. All they see is you don't want to be with them, and they're gonna try to make you want to be with them. And that's a little sick. Okay? That's toxic. It's okay to not want to be with somebody. It's okay. There is no law that says you have to be with someone because you've been married to them for like 20 years. There's no law that says that. There's no law that says you have to be with a person because you are married and you have kids with them. No. There's no law that says you got to be with somebody because you have a child with them, period. I mean, in a perfect world, every child would have been born in wedlock. None of my kids were. They weren't. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because, I made the decisions that I made with the men that I made them with. And I don't have no shame in my game when I say that. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not. Some people might feel like I should be, but I'm not. It is what it is. They here now. Most of them are grown. I'm a whole grandmother now. So for me to be beating myself up about decisions that I made in my 20s at 48 would be ridiculously insane. And I refuse to do it. And I won't let anybody make me feel like I should be ashamed. And that just goes back to me saying, like, the growth that I've had is like so vast. Like, mentally, I'm in such a different space than I was in my 20s. Like, the shit that I allowed in my 20s and that I did, it would never happen now. Now, there are some parts about me that are the same from when I was in my 20s. I'm still the same, like, funny person. I still like to have fun. I still like to read. I still like to write. I still like to spend time with my friends. I still like to spend a lot of time by myself. Those things right there are still the same about me, and they will never change. I still drink occasionally. In my 20s, I didn't smoke weed. Now I smoke weed. Like, they're just things that I did back then that I don't do now, and some of the things that I didn't do back then, I do now. And I don't think there's a problem with that. I still feel very youthful as far as like my spirit is concerned. Like, I don't feel old. I don't feel like I shouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing at 48. Like, I still have a mindset of, I don't care what people think about me. I thought that back then, and I think that now. I still feel that way. I don't care what you think about me. Because at the end of the day, I am the one who has to go home and live with me every night. I wake up to me every morning. And I am nobody's wife. I'm nobody's girlfriend. I'm me. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. Okay? So, on that note, when I say I don't care what nobody think about me, I mean that. Who am I answering to? Who? No one. I'm sorry, y'all. I just got my faux locks done, and my head is itching so bad. Like, it is itching like crazy. So if you can hear that little noise, that's me trying to scratch my hair, my scalp rather. But But anyway, back to what I was saying. When you get to a place in your life where you just really don't care about the opinions of other people, it's such a great feeling to have. Now, I felt that way for years, for decades. But the older you get, for a lot of people, the older you get, the more abundant it becomes. It's like you just don't give a fuck. And that goes back to outgrowing things. It's like you look at things and you're like, I don't like this anymore. This doesn't do anything for me anymore. And sometimes you might have friends who still enjoy doing X, Y, and Z, and you don't like it no more. It's fine to tell them, like, you know what, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and have that. I'm not feeling it. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if you don't want to stay out till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning anymore. That's cool. If you rather be home by 10 or 9, that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I don't mind staying out till 1 o'clock. I don't. Sometimes I don't want to go anywhere at all. It's just we change as we get older. And, that's a part of outgrowing things. I've outgrown wanting to be out on the weekend, every weekend. I don't do nothing for me no more. Some Saturday nights I want to do is just be at home and watch movies and shit. I don't want to be out. Then there are some weekends where I'm like, damn, I wish I had somewhere to go. Like, where can I go? Like, what's going on? Some weekends I'm like that. One day I might want to, talk to everybody and do all these things. And the next day I don't want to be bothered. That's just who I am now. Well, I've been like that for a while. I've been like that for a while, for some years now. But I don't make any apologies for it. It's just the way that I am. I don't apologize for it at all. So, with all of that being said, I just wanted, I just felt compelled to come on here and say that, to talk about this, because I've seen a lot of people who feel on social media feel like when a person chooses them, it's wrong. And I remember saying, I was on a post about some guy had posted something about marriage, and women are out here choosing them instead of, they're married and they choosing them, and this, that, and the other, and that, if you in a marriage, you're supposed to be, you're supposed to work at it, and this, that, and all that stuff. And I'm like, sir, I said, you know what? I'm always going to choose me. Always. I don't care who I'm with. I don't care what's going on. If it's not serving me, if it's not for me anymore, I'm going to always choose me. Period. And there were some guys who had a real problem with that. And they really felt like, they were like, well, that's why so many of y'all single and this, that, and the other. And that's the problem now. That's selfish. How is selfish because I'm choosing my own happiness and peace of mind over a person? That's selfish? It's selfish to feel like someone should be with you because you won't accept the fact that they're telling you this isn't working for them anymore. That's selfish. And not only is it selfish, it's a very toxic trait to have. Because why would you want to be in a relationship or a marriage with anyone who is flat out telling you this isn't working for me anymore? I'm not happy. Would it be the ideal thing to try to make it work? Yes. But if that person chooses to not go to counseling and not try to do things and make it better and all that, if they don't want to do that, that's fine too. Because guess what? They don't have to. No one is obligated to try to make something work with you. That is not an obligation that anyone owes you. That is what people do when they want something to work. When they feel like, okay, if we do these things, then things could possibly change. But if a person is determined to not be with you, and it has nothing to do with you, like they have no animosity towards you, they just know that it's not working for them anymore, that they're not happy, and it's nothing to do with you and everything to do with them, what kind of work is there to do? Because if it has nothing to do with you, all the work in the world, even if they agree to it, it's still going to be the same result. They're still not going to be happy within themselves, because no one owes you the task of making you happy. That's not anybody's job. Your happiness is your responsibility. Period. If you aren't happy within yourself, you can't be happy with anyone else. No one should have your happiness in their hands. That should not be anybody else's responsibility. And the way that people love to make other people's happiness, the way that people love to make their happiness, rather, other people's responsibility, is very selfish. There are people who are absolutely miserable being single, and they really believe that if they get in a relationship, that all of that misery will go away, that they will just, boom, magically be happy. And for some people, that is really true. That really happens to them, because what they've done is they've taken their happiness, that the happiness that they didn't have, they have somehow found it all of a sudden, and they've given it to that other person, the person that they're with now. They've given it to them and said, here you go, this is my happiness. I need you to make this work for me. I need you to make this happiness that I've given you, I need you to make it work for me. And that is a selfish thing to do. Because when they fail at making you happy, at some point that's going to happen. Then you're going to put all the blame on them. Like, well, you're not doing anything to make me happy. No one should be doing anything to make you happy. You should come into a relationship happy, and they should come into the relationship happy. And you guys should enhance each other's happiness. You should add to each other's joy. You should add to those things. You shouldn't be looking for somebody to make you something that you never were, that you weren't in the first place. Because if you enter the relationship not happy as a single person, why in the hell are you going to be happy now? Because you're with somebody? People need to get comfortable with being alone. Get comfortable with being alone. But not to the point where, if you want to be in a relationship, not to the point where it makes you want to just sit there. Because we weren't meant to spend our lives alone. We were not. And I'm not saying, that means you got to get married because everybody doesn't want to be married. I do, but I'm not rushing that. I'm comfortable being single. I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I am doing me. I'm finding things to do to keep myself busy. I'm finding things to do, like I said, to, add to this new journey in my life. And that is why I can say, as much as I would love to be in love again, it's not something I'm pressed about, because I'm happy where I am right now. I'm happy within myself. I don't need a relationship or a man to make me happy. Now, if I meet someone who adds to that, then cool. I would love that, because I can reciprocate that all day long. But I don't need that to make me happy, because I have found happiness for myself, within myself, by myself. And I truly believe that if I hadn't gotten out of that last relationship, well, if it hadn't ended rather, I wouldn't be where I am now mentally. The things that are happening in my life now, if I would have stayed in that relationship, I wouldn't even have any of this now. And I still don't have all of the things that I am striving to have, but I am grateful for where I am right now. And I appreciate where I am right now. I love where I am right now in every area. Even though, like I said, I'm still working on making those areas more abundant. But had I stayed in that relationship, I highly doubt that any of this would be going on. I really don't believe that it would be, because like I said, it wasn't what it was. It was not what I thought it was. So those relationships, I'm sorry, y'all. This man just pulled up in the driveway, and I'm like, who the hell is this? Anyway, hindsight is 2020. And when I was in my last relationship, I really thought that I had found my person. I really believed that. And I thought I just had this great relationship. And when it ended, I started having all these revelations. Like months after it ended, it was like every day I started realizing something new about what I thought was really going on. It really wasn't. Like everything that I thought was so amazing in those moments weren't. Now, I'm not going to say that we didn't have like some really amazing times. Like we didn't have a lot of fun together, because we did. We spent a lot of time together. We had a lot of fun together. We had a lot of really deep conversations. We could be very vulnerable and transparent with each other. We had a ball together more times than not. But it wasn't what was for me. That wasn't for me. And as hard as I tried to make it be for me, as much as I wanted it to be for me, God had to show me, like, look, I keep doing things. Shit keeps happening, not in this relationship. Things are happening. And I keep trying to show you that this is not for you. But you just keep trying to like make yourself fit in this. Now I got to show you that this is not for you. This is not what I have for you. This is only a lesson. This is not for you. This is not a permanent place for you. This is not where I want you to keep your heart and your mind and your spirit. I don't want you to keep those things here. So I got to remove you from this. And even though I wasn't the one that ended the relationship, he did what he needed to do so that it could end. My ex broke up with me. And now I see why. Because if he hadn't broken up with me, I would damn sure wasn't gonna break up with him. I was willing to try to make it work. And that right there was a big mistake on my behalf. Because even though I knew that there were so many red flags, so much shit was happening, I was still willing to stick it out because I just knew that was my person. And I'm so grateful that relationship is over now for me. I'm so grateful that I'm not in it anymore, because had I still been in it, I wouldn't even be on the journey that I'm on now within myself and for myself. I wouldn't be trying to accomplish the things that I am accomplishing now. I wouldn't even be doing these things. I've had the mindset in that relationship, but I wouldn't be making the moves that I'm making. I wouldn't even be taking the steps to do the things that I have set out to do. Like, there are so many goals I've set for myself, and I take small steps each day towards those goals. I show up for myself every day. Even if I just do one or two things, I still show up for me. Had I stayed in that relationship, I don't think I'd be doing that. I really don't think I'd be doing any of this stuff, because I would be listening to what he thought was best for me, and knowing in the back of my mind, those are things that I didn't want to do. I have my own goals, my own dreams, my own aspirations, like things that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I was letting him talk me into doing things, putting those things to the side and doing what he thought I should do. This man had me about to, try to start a 24-hour daycare, and I ain't never wanted to have a daycare in my damn life. I never wanted to own a daycare. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I never wanted to own a daycare. Now imagine if I would have gone through with that. I never wanted that, but I let him make me think it was a great idea. And in the back of my mind, I was just like, I really don't want to do this, but I didn't want to tell him that because, again, I was trying to let him know I trust you and I love you and I, yada, yada, yada. But really, I didn't want to do that. Now I'm at a place where I'm doing the things that I want to do with my life, and I'm building the life of my dreams. So it's okay to outgrow things, people, and places. It is okay. It is okay to choose you, and it is okay if no one understands that. That's not their business to understand it anyway. As long as you make it clear in a very tactful way, look, this is not serving me anymore. And even if you have to be a little rude about it, depending on why you feel that way, if the person is being disrespectful towards you, then by all means, say how you want to say it. But if it has nothing to do with them and everything to do with you, then there's no need to be mean about it. Just tell them how you feel. Just tell them how you feel. If there's anything about you or your life that you don't like, you feel like you've outgrown, figure out what you need to do to change it. And once you figure out what you need to do to change it, figure out how you can go about changing those things. And it doesn't have to make a list. Write down a list of the things that you want to change about your life, about yourself, and start your journey. Take one thing at a time and figure out how you can work on that thing. Which things on your list are the most important to you? And figure out how you can change them. How can you show up for yourself in this new way so that you can, start your, be on your journey to your new era of growth within yourself, for yourself, by yourself. What are the things that you feel you need to do? And once you sit down and look at that list and you pick out the top 3 things on that list that you want to change, or the top 5 things on that list that you want to change about yourself, or you want to improve, and you figure out how you can do those things, what is it going to take for you to get those things changed, and then you will start to feel so much better. I promise you will feel better. I did it, and I'm still working on the things that I want to change, because this is a new journey for me. And I don't care if not damn motherfucker understands it. I don't give a fuck. It's not for them to understand. It's for me to understand, because it's for me to complete. And as long as you keep that mindset, you will be A-okay. Not everybody's going to understand your journey. Not everybody's going to see your vision. And that is fine, because it's not for them. It's for you. And on that note, thank y'all for listening. I'll talk to y'all later, and have an amazing day. Bye.